Hey everyone, welcome to the Knit and Crochet Spot. My name's Melissa and I'm coming to you from the suburbs of Atlanta, Georgia. Today is Monday, July 4th. Happy 4th of July to all my US watchers. I hope everyone has had a wonderful holiday weekend. If you're new here, I'd like to say welcome, and if you're returning, I'd like to say welcome back. So this channel is about knitting, crochet, and yarn. And I'd like to share with y'all my finished objects, works in progress, and yarn hauls. So today I have finished objects and works in progress to share with you. I have one finished object and 4 works in progress. So let's get started. So my one and only finished object is a crocheted item. This is a tutorial by Siren's Crochet, I think is the channel name. I'll link it down below. And I think it's Crochet Easy Diamond Tote Bag, something like that. And here it is. This was a works in progress last time, and now it's finished. It's quite large. Hopefully I can get it all in. So here it is. And there is a big strap. It's big. So here it is. Can't really show you that great. There we go, maybe. And here's the pattern. The diamond pattern. I love it. I love the size of it. I love this yarn. I love everything about it. I'm really happy with it. I will say that for the tutorial, now, Siren's channel is a great channel. She has great tutorials, great items, but this particular tutorial I found frustrating, and I thought about when I was a beginner crocheter that I would have been very confused by this tutorial. And I don't want to knock the channel because she does have wonderful crochet items and wonderful tutorials. But this one was a little bit, frustrating. There was a lot of times where she would just kind of say, the beginning, I think her count was off, something like that, if I remember correctly. The amount that you chained was off, and then she would get to so far in the pattern, and then she would say, well, go ahead and repeat this row, this row, and this row. And that was just a little frustrating, and this is definitely something a beginner could do. There's nothing difficult about it, but if you're following a tutorial, it might be, I can only speak from my personal experience when I was a beginner. I would have found it frustrating, but if you do, I think that would be doable for a beginner, but you might get a little frustrated with the tutorial. So anyway, here it is. I'm really happy with how it turned out. It's very large. So the yarn that I use, which I'm absolutely in love with, and I wish I had more of it, I used the Caron Cotton Funnel Cakes. And I used 1 cake and a bit of this cake. So 1 cake and maybe like, I don't know, a third of this cake. There are, let's see how many. It's 100% cotton. It's a number 4. There are 250 grams, 425 yards. And this colorway is Buttercup. So I used an entire cotton cake, 1 cake, and then a bit of this one. Oh, I don't know, probably like a third of it. So maybe, yeah. So see how it is a little different? Now this is very similar to the Ripple Cakes they came out with last year. But the Ripple Cakes are, I'm pretty sure that's a DK. This is a number 4. So I liked working with this cake more, the funnel cakes, more than I did with the Ripple Cakes. This is really, really soft, and if I remember correctly, the other Ripple Cakes weren't as soft as this. I don't know, I'm going to work with them again soon just to kind of compare, but I really, really love this yarn, and I hope that Michaels comes out with this yarn again next year. I love it. I love it a lot. And so the hook that I used for this, I used a 4.5 crochet hook, 4.5 millimeter. This is my clover hook. And that is everything about that finished object. So now we can get on to the works in progress. So I have 4 works in progress. I have actually 2 new starts because, well, that's me. So the first one I'll show you is in this bag. This is my Georgia Mountain Needle Arts Festival bag that I got this past year, a couple months ago. And in it I have a blanket. This is a Feather and Fan baby blanket. And it is a free pattern on Ravelry. And here it is. So let's see where the green stitch marker is, where I roughly was last time. So I've done that much. So I haven't done a ton of knitting on it. I have worked on it quite a bit. I'll tell you in a minute. Let me make sure I'm not losing stitches. So here it is. Kind of pretty much looks the same as last time you saw it, but I want to show it to you. So the yarn I'm using for this is the second ball of yarn I'm putting into the blanket. This is the Ice Cream Roving yarn. This is a Lion brand yarn, but I got this at Michael's. Let's see. It is 200 grams, 437 yards, 100% acrylic. It's a number 4, and the colorway is Licorice. So that is that yarn. And I am using, I don't know what, let's see, a 5.5 knitting needle. Now, what happened is I made a mistake. When I was changing colors, I didn't realize it. I made a mistake and dropped a stitch, and it threw the pattern off. And so I had to frog back. Now this, you can't just frog this yarn. It's not easy to frog. So I actually had to tink back each stitch for I don't know how many rows, and that wasn't easy either. But you just can't, it would have been impossible to pull the needles out and then just frog everything. It would have been a mess. So I spent a lot of time tinking back on this to the place. I wasn't really sure. I knew I had missed a stitch, obviously, because the count was off, but I wasn't really sure. And then, so I finally found out where I made the mistake and carried on. So I have worked on this a bit, you know, including all the frogging that I did. So there is that works in progress. And also I have entered this into a crochet, I think it's Crochet Moments blanket Cal 2022 that there's a hashtag for on Instagram. It's by Helen from Crochet Moments. This is her 2nd year doing it. She has a blanket along. I can't remember when it ends, but it's all on, well, I don't know if it's all on Instagram. I think you can email her as well, and I'll put all that information down below. So I've entered this into that blanket along, and I will also include the hashtag. So if you're interested in doing that, and she's got a lovely prize, a really lovely prize if you get picked as a winner. So I've entered that into that blanket along. So that is that works in progress. Okay, and so the next one, okay, well, I'll go with this one. So this one is a crochet Shawlette. This is the Meryton Shawlette by Emily from Hooked Hazel. And this is what it looks like. Let's see if there's any other pictures I can show you without showing. Yep. Here's the shawl. And there's another way. I don't want to show the pattern. So there's another way you can wear the shawl. So I was very excited when I saw this on Instagram, and I was like, I want to do this. So I've started it. I barely have started it. This is all I have so far. It's not even worth showing, but I want to show it for a reason. So this is so here it is, just this so far. So I'm a bit confused already, just this little bit in. I'm a little bit confused about the pattern. I don't know if it's me. I can read patterns. I'm usually pretty good at figuring stuff out, but there's something about this that's kind of, there's something off. I think it is, or maybe because I've never done one of her patterns before, so maybe the way, I'm just not understanding it the way she's writing it. I find that often with crochet patterns, way more than knit patterns. Knit patterns, there may be things in knitting that I don't know how to do, the techniques, but usually the pattern itself is very straightforward. I've found. I know that there'll be techniques where I'm like, I don't know how to do that, you know. But with crochet, I find that you have to kind of sometimes interpret what the designer who's writing the pattern is saying. Anyway, so I've emailed her, I sent her a message on Ravelry asking her about this specific row, and because I keep getting a stitch off, and I have taken it out a bunch of times, and I'm like, I could fudge it and I probably would be fine, because she even says in the pattern, if you're off a couple stitches, don't worry about it. This is forgiving. You can just fix it on the next row. But I'm not the type of person that can just do that, especially like this. When I'm only this far in, I'm thinking I'm already having questions about it. So I've sent her a message, and she got back to me very quickly and said that she was on vacation and she will make a proper response on Tuesday, on July 5th. So I'm just waiting on that. So I'm very excited to do this shawl. I think it's absolutely beautiful, or will be absolutely beautiful. And the yarn that I'm using for this is the yarn, and this is Less Traveled yarn, and the colorway is Plumera. It's part of her Enchantment collection. I got this probably a few years ago. It's 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, 463 yards. It is fingering weight. So yeah, there's the yarn. Isn't it pretty? It's so pretty. Let's see. I think that's everything. Yep, Less Traveled yarn. And the crochet hook that I'm using is a 3.75. I decided to get this out because this is, I love these hooks. I used to get the Lether collection subscription box monthly, and I used to get the yarn and the crochet hook included. And this is one of the crochet hooks, and I hardly ever use them. They're very comfortable for me. And I don't know, I got it out and I said, I want to use one of these. This is like, it is not that bright. That looks like neon nearly. It's not that bright. So 3.75, and these all have clover. The metal part is a clover crochet hook, and it's very comfortable. I don't know why I don't use these more. I should. Oh, and the bag this is living in is my Star Wars bag. So yeah, so that is it. That is that. So hopefully I'll get it figured out. It could be just I'm reading something wrong, or I don't know. So we'll see. Hopefully I will figure it out and can get to working on this, because so far I'm already loving the yarn with this pattern, and I can't wait. I can't wait. I know a lot of crocheters don't always use. There is something amazing about crocheting with hand-dyed yarn. It is just, oh, it's luxurious. So there is that. Okay, and that goes with this. So my next works in progress are my socks. So I have one sock off the needles, and here it is. And I have the toe done, and I just have to do the heel. That's the heel, but I've got one sock off the needles. Look at that. I love how it pulled. And I decided to put a contrasting toe in because I'm using this skein of yarn here. I've already made a hat out of it. So I'm making a pair, obviously I'm making a pair of knit socks. And I just want to make sure that I have enough for the second sock, which I'm sure that I will, but I just, you know, I didn't want to worry about it. So I put in a contrasting toe. A lot of times I don't, well, sometimes I do, but a lot of times I don't. I just put in a contrasting heel, but I just want better safe than sorry. So this is the yarn, and I've started the second sock. Here it is. So this is a vanilla sock, and they're going to be shorty socks. And I knit my socks on magic loop, or I'm doing this pair on magic loop. I do a 2x2 ribbing for 15 rows. And I'm going to do a shorty sock, and this will probably only have 10 rows before I place markers for the heel. And yep, so 64 stitches. Let's see what else I do. A wedge toe, top down, they're top down. Yep, so there's that. So the yarn, the main yarn, this yarn here, I did find in my stash. I went looking, and I do have another, I have another one of these yarns in this colorway. So I know I won't run out of yarn, but I'm better safe than sorry. So if something did happen, which I would prefer not to dip into that, because I probably, if I needed to, wouldn't need that much. So, but I do have another skein just in case. So this is Nerd Girl Yarns. Here's their label. This is, and I don't think that they dye yarn anymore. I have to check. This is on their Bounce and Stomp base. It's 4-ply fingering sock, 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, 460 yards. And the colorway is too English to say anything. And then the toe I did, and this is Stroll, Knit Pick Stroll, fingering weight, and Dove Heather, 131 yards for 50 grams. It is 75% fine superwash merino wool, 25% nylon. So that is what I'm using for the contrasting toes, and I will probably do contrasting heels as well. And this is in my Molly Klein design bags. Oh, and the needles I use, this is 2.25 millimeters are the needles I use, and I think this is a 40-inch cord, or 32. It's a 40-inch cord. So there is that. All right, so I have one more to show you. And this is new as well. And this is living in this bag. This is the Twist Fiber Studio bag, which I'm not sure they make bags either anymore. And this is a YouTube tutorial from Crystal at Bag a Day. This is the Japanese knot bag that everyone's been making. I decided to join in. I'm not very far along. Here it is so far. You can see the texture in it. I'm using a 6mm crochet hook for this, and because that's what she recommended, and usually I just go with the hooks that she uses because that works for me, but I really wish I had used a smaller hook, because I think that's just, I don't know, maybe it'll look fine, but can you see the texture on it? So there it is. And just remember, it'll get folded like this. I'm making it wider, and then you put handles on the top. to turn it into a bag. So the yarn I'm using for this is this. I love this cotton. And this was last year's, well, because I know I didn't buy it this year. This was on their clearance, Hobby Lobby clearance. Their 75% clearance, the one they just had. This was from last year. So this is, I love this cotton. It's 100% cotton. The colorway is Lime Dot. It's 85 grams, 153 yards, and it's a number 4. See the little dots of lime? So that's it. So I have used that much of the yarn, so it'll probably take another skein of yarn as well. And I'm, like I said before, I think I said, I'm using a 6mm crochet hook on that. And that is it. That is all that I've been working on this week. I have my sister in town, so yeah, because I don't feel like I got a ton done, but my sister's in, frogging that or tinking back that blanket was, took a long time. It's not easy yarn. But my sister's in town, so that kind of has kept me a bit busy this week. But I got some stuff done, so I'm glad about that. Like I said in the beginning of the podcast, today is 4th of July. I hope everyone has had a wonderful weekend. I'm going to my daughter's later today for where she lives. She lives closer to Atlanta than I do, and they live in a big apartment building, and it's like you can see everything, so there'll be lots of fireworks to see. And we'll have dinner and watch fireworks, so we're all looking forward to that. And yep, that is it for today. Let's see, I was gonna say something, I just lost it. Yeah, that is it. So I hope you all had a great weekend. I hope you all have a great week. I will see you soon, and until then, bye for now.